Okay, so thank you all again for coming and listening to what I had to say about the year. And now I'm going to talk about the Trecena that we're going into, the Trecena of Ix. So, what do we know about Ix? Ix, the jaguar. Ix, the spirit of Mother Earth. Ix, our connection with the natural world. Our connection with the spirit of Mother Earth. Ix could be seen as the magician as well. And sometimes I see it as kind of like when we connect ourselves with Mother Earth, when we make our offerings, when we look after her, she looks after us. And so she brings us everything that we need. And all of our material goods, all of our material wealth, everything comes from Mother Earth. And so when we connect with her, that's how we bring it out. So the Trecena of Ix could be a very good time to reconnect with Mother Earth, to reconnect with her spirit. Ix is also about the altars and shrines, the sacred places. And, you know, our whole world is a sacred space, right? Our natural world is a sacred space. And so we could look at it as the Trecena of Ix being a great time for us to reconnect with the sacred around us and connect with the sacred inside of us, our own altar. Because that's how it's all supposed to work, right? We allow our sacred expression to happen. We allow our sacred expression to connect with that of Mother Earth. And that's how we ask her for what we need. That's how we look after her. Because that's the payback. That's what we pay for this care. That's what we pay for what we receive from Mother Earth, is the looking after of Mother Earth. Because that's what we need to do as well. So it's a great time to be working with environmental projects, to be launching environmental projects, to be going out and doing your bit to make sure that we care for our mother, that we care for Mother Earth. Great day to be, or great time to be making cleanups or whatever projects. But this is the beginning of a longer cycle too. So maybe there's a longer term project that you could begin in the Trecena of Ix to renew your connection with Mother Earth, to renew your vows to her, as it were, as well, to be looking after her. Because that's also going to renew your magic, as it were. So, the Trecena of Ix, of course, is going to begin on the day 1 Ix. The beginning, 1, the birthing, 1, the new seed, the new emergence, together with Ix. So as I said, this is a great day to be initiating or reconnecting with the sacred nature of the world around you, the sacred nature of the spirit of Mother Earth, the sacred nature that's within you. It's about bringing the two together. Ix, the guardian of the shrines, the guardian of the altars. She's also the one that looks after those sacred spaces. And as I said, if we see the whole world as sacred, it's about looking after our environment. It's about looking after what's around us. So 1 Ix would be a great day to begin that project, to begin that process, to relaunch it. As we go into this period, as we go into this new time, 1 Ix is a great time to be making your petitions to Mother Earth for what you might need to bring in for your family from her, but also what you're prepared to offer in return, how you're prepared to care for her in return. And then from 1 Ix, we'll go to Tzikin. So Tzikin, the bird, also seen as the eagle. The bird, the visionary. Well, we're certainly going to need a visionary if we're going to start this environmental project, right? If we're going to see everything as sacred around us. But what can Tzikin bring to us? Well, we also need to look at maybe where things aren't quite going right. If we want to see how to move into the future, we need to get a clear picture. We need to see it in black and white. And that's what Tzikin can bring to us. It can bring us the image of the polarities so that we can see things truly for how they are. And when we can see that, then we can move into true prosperity, because we can understand which way we're going. Nothing's muddled anymore. Very black and white. So it could be very, very straightforward, the two Tzikin day. Once again, we could also see it representing self-sacrifice. We can represent it with relationships as well. So it might bring you a vision for the relationship that you're in, or the relationship that you want. It might bring you a vision of how you can, let's say, sacrifice some of your prosperity in order to make sure that your environment will thrive. From 2 Tzikin, we then move to 3 Ajmak. So the Ajmak days, the days of being a human, the days of forgiveness, the days of acceptance. Okay? And here it's coupled with the number 3. The number 3 representing the inner world. The number 3 representing home. 3 Ajmak, for me, is a massive totem of self-forgiveness. This is about looking inside. It's not about projections on the outside, because sometimes the 3 will make that difficult. It's asking you to look inside. And with Ajmak being about forgiveness and redemption, it's all about self-forgiveness. So this may be a great day for reflection, a great day for meditation, a great day for some kind of retreat, in order to kind of like help yourself get over yourself, as it were. To forgive yourself for whatever might need forgiving as we move into the Trecena a bit further. Because of course we can't move forward if we're carrying guilt, or blame, or shame, or those kind of things. They're like rocks in our pack that hold us back. 3 Ajmak is the day to address those kind of issues and to forgive yourself. From 3 Ajmak, we're then going to begin these 5 days, which may be known as Wayeb or Ix, and we're going to begin them with 4 Noch. 4 Noch, Noch, the mind, the brain. In particular, I see Noch as being the logical part of the brain, the left hemisphere of the brain. It's about taking our information, taking our knowledge, and bringing it together to solve problems, to create a plan. The number 4 represents the physical realm, it represents the physical world. And so this is really about, it could be about understanding how to bring our plan into action, how to bring it down to earth, how we might solve some of the problems that we have in front of us, and realize our ideas into a physical reality. It's also this first day of these 5 days of introspection. And so again, it's just like, it almost seems like we've got 6 days with the 3 Ajmak on the beginning, right? But we're talking about retreat again. We're talking about time to reflect, to work out, okay, in the last 365 days, how did I bring my knowledge into a physical reality? How did I put my knowledge together? All those courses I've been on, all those things that I've done, how did I use that to make a better world in the last 365 days? From 4 Noch, we're then going to go into 5 Tijax. 5 Tijax. Tijax can be seen very much as a day of healing, and 5 can be seen very much as a number of work. So I would suggest that healing work is an excellent thing to be doing on a 5 Tijax day. Once again, we still see it within the period of Wayeb in the Tzikin. And so it might be again to be reflecting on how you have healed, or what you might need to heal. What's happened in the last 365 days where you can apply your own healing, where you might ask for some healing work to be done with you. Tijax, the obsidian blade, that which cuts, that which discerns. We say that those 5 days of Wayeb, these are days when we're going to leave behind what we don't need to carry into the next year. What better day to cut yourself free of them? than 5 Tijax Day to put your energy into releasing yourself from what you don't need to carry through into the next year. Tijax we also see as purification. Tijax we see as discernment. You know, I kind of see it as the jeweler who is cutting the facets on the diamond to bring out its ultimate beauty. It's about polishing our own inner diamond. And so 5 Tijax is a great day to be putting your energy, to be putting your work into exactly that. Your own purification, your own growth, as it were. Cutting away the bits which aren't needed anymore. And releasing them with joy. From 5 Tijax, we then move into 6 Kawak. I see as, once again, it's a healing day. It's a feminine healing day because that's what Kawak represents. And here it's with the number 6, the number of ultimate stability. So we have the stable 4, which is then connected above and below, bringing in the essence of the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth into the physical plane. Kawak is about rebirth. It's about the birth process. It's about support of each other. Kawak is one of the friendliest of the energies because she's there to help us through our rebirthing process, to help us to move forward. She's holding our hand, but she drives us fairly hard as well. We've got to go through that process. So it can be some tough love, but it's in order to bring this ultimate stability. The 6 is also related to the family. So it's about the healing of family. That's what can come in on this day. So as we go through this Trecena and as we go through this period of the Wayeb as well, we could be looking at this and saying, what processes can I bring in to bring healing to family? What processes can I bring in? How can I stabilize this birth that I'm moving into? This new year, this new self that is literally about to be born. From 6 Kawak, we're then going to move into 7 Ajpu. Now 7 Ajpu is rather an interesting day because it relates to one of the characters in the Popol Vuh. 7 Ajpu, Wukub Ajpu, or Wukub Hun Ajpu as he's known. He was the uncle of the hero twins. The hero twins were the ones that brought in the new civilization, the ones that represent the new civilization, the ones who brought the 4th sun into being. Their uncle was the old sun. He represents the last civilization. He represents the old world. And whilst the head of Hun Hunahpu, the father of the hero twins, in the Popol Vuh, they bring it back to the world after their victory over the Lords of Death. But 7 Hunahpu, he stays in the underworld. He's the old civilization which is lost. And so as we're going through this transformation time, as we're moving into this new year, this is something about the old civilization, the death of the old civilization. It's like leaving it behind. And that's what I see with 7 Ajpu. It's a great day to recognize what you can leave behind, because that's 7 representing the death, the ending, and Ajpu representing the divine path. So it's okay, maybe there was something which used to be divine for you, something which was part of your divine path that's no longer part of your divine path and can't be part of your divine path going into the future. It would be a great day to be, if you were in your retreat, if you're in your meditation for these 5 days of Wayeb, to be looking on what you used to hold sacred that no longer feels like that for you, and what you wish to embrace going forwards. Because the 7 is also like being on top of the pyramid. And when you're on top of the pyramid, you get to see all of the good options. So 7 Ajpu could be seen as an excellent day for assessing what we could call your spiritual path as you move forward into the new Mayan year. From 7 Ajpu, we then go into 8 Imox. Now I said that in general we wouldn't be making ceremonies during Wayeb, or I won't be making ceremonies during Wayeb. That's not the way that I would do things or choose to do things. But if there was, like the reason why I mention this is because 8 Imox is a great day for water ceremonies. Now maybe this is a private water ceremony that you do in the comfort of your own dwelling. Maybe this is a ceremony that you make to give thanks for the water in your world, the water on your land, the water that brings life, the water that you drink, the water that flows from your taps, however that might work, wherever it comes from. 8 Imox is the celebration of the oceans and the lake. It would be a great day to make a ceremony for, asking for kind of like the end of pollution of the oceans in this Ix Trecena as we connect with Mother Earth. Surely protecting our water sources is one of our primary missions. It has to be. We have to have the clean water. 8 Imox would be a great day to be focusing on that. In addition to that, Imox can be seen as the dream world. Imox can be seen as that other world to which we journey in the night, or maybe through the use of plant medicines or something like that. It's where we get our visions, where we get our dreams from. 8 Imox could be seen as a great day to give thanks for the dreams that you've had, the dreams that you've brought to fruition, and to ask for the new dreams to come. It's a day when we could be looking at the whole dream, the whole aspect of it, because that 8 brings wholeness to it. We then come to the new year. 9 Ix is the first day of the new Mayan solar year. That would be the 19th of February this year. And so what is 9 Ix about? Because surely this must be an influence over the next 365 days too. So Ix, the wind, communication. Ix, the divine breath, the air that we breathe. We can't survive for very long without air, right? And we can't survive very long without fresh air, really. We do it, but Ix is a great day to be giving thanks for the fresh air that we breathe. And when that air rises from our lungs and through our throats, it's turned into words. And those words we can use to inspire. That breath, that divine breath that rises from our lungs, this is what we use to craft these inspiring words. We can bring inspiration to the people around us. Ix is also about changes. And the wind changes without notice, right? We don't know when the wind's going to change. And it teaches us to adapt. And so 9 Ix can be a celebration of changes, can be a celebration of communication. And in particular, here combined with the number 9, brings out the words of women. This is one of the particularly important parts of this. As I say, going forward, it's also going to represent this new year that we go into. We may find that more so than ever, the words of women are particularly important or particularly strong in this year. It may be the words of the women that are driving change in this 9 Ix year. And particularly, you may find that on a 9 Ix day, this is a great day to seek the counsel of women, to have a chat with your female friends. Because you may find that it's their words that are particularly inspiring on that 9 Ix day. The other thing that we can see is that it's about the breath of life, and 9 Ix is an absolutely wonderful day to be making a ceremony for the health of the lungs and for the air that we breathe. From 9 Ix, we're then going to move into 10 Aqabal. So Aqabal is the new dawn. Aqabal is the new concept, the new conception. Aqabal is that time between, just before sunrise, the twilight. And it's when we come out of our sleep, just before we wake up fully, when we can still remember our dreams, we can bring them into this world. We can write them down, perhaps. So Aqabal is all about bringing in new concepts. And what do we see it with here? We see it with the number 10. The number 10 representing this. It's 2 hands coming together. It's about society. It's about cooperation. Sometimes it's about asking for a hand. right? It's about asking for help. It's also about reaching out your hand to offer help. So this is saying, if Aqabal is about bringing our new concepts into the world, this is a great day to go out to your community, possibly to introduce new concepts to your community and say, well, you know, kind of like, what do we think about this? Because a concept is not fully formed yet. We don't know quite where it's going to go. We don't know quite how it's going to develop. And sometimes if we get the input of others, if we get a bit of assistance on that, then that's a great way to be doing it. Also kind of like, as I say, offering our own viewpoint to those around us so we can help them to develop their new concepts. So it can be a very cooperative community day to get new things moving. From 10 Aqabal, we're then going to go into 11 Kat. And so Kat is the Nawal of the net. It's the Nawal of that which we carry around, our bags, that hold all our worldly goods, as it were, or our string net, as it were. It's what we use to carry our harvest, our bounty around. And so it represents this, but you know, if we carry too much in that bag, it's going to slow us down. We all know when we've kind of like, we thought we'd packed well, but it turns out we're a couple of kilos heavy and we can't quite walk the way we hope to because we get tired. We have to stop and look and say, well, what can I take out of this bag? And this is a great exercise for cat days. Cat days are always great for decluttering. You know, it's like the more space you make in your net, the more that you can bring back into it. It's also a day for looking around, and I see life in general as collecting all of these different exercises, all of these different experiences, all of these different ingredients that we're bringing together into our net of us, right? Sometimes you have to make a bit of room in that net of us for new experiences or new people or whatever to come in. So we have to release our attachments, and that's what cat days are about. Now, the number 11 is a high and odd number. It can be extremely creative because that is literally going from one place to another, looking for different things, finding different things. It's almost like a day of gathering random objects into your net could be one way of seeing it. But it's in order to create, because that's what the 11 eventually does. The 11 brings a great deal of creativity with it. And so, whilst they might seem like random things that you're gathering at that point in time, they are likely to be part of the greater scheme of things later on. It's also, as I say, a powerful day to let go of what you don't need to carry anymore as we begin that new year of 9 Ix. From 11 Kat, we're then going to go into 12 Kan. Kan, the Nawal of power and wisdom. Kan, the Nawal of the serpent. Kan, the Nawal of teachers. And that's where I'd like to focus with it, teaching. Because 12 Kan, the number 12 representing life experiences. Now, Kan has a little bit of a dualistic reputation from time to time. It can be an illusionist, it can be rather seductive, but it also represents our teachers. And what do our teachers do? Our teachers empower the community by sharing their wisdom. Where does this wisdom come from? The number 12 would be talking about our life experiences. So 12 could be one of the best days to be sharing our life experiences in order to empower others. To be teaching from experience. I think that's probably the best use of that 12 day. And from 12 we're then going to finally end up in 13 Kame. So 13 Kame. Kame is seen as the day of death. Kame is seen as a day of spiritual transformation. Kame is also seen as a day on which it's very easy to contact with the ancestors because it's representing the other world, it's representing the underworld. And we see it here connected with the number 13, which is also a number that represents the ancestors, the number which represents the spirit world. And I've kind of like probably said before that for me, 13 Kame if I was to kind of like say what it might be a bit like, it'd be a bit like Halloween kind of thing. It's like Kame days, the veil is thin. 13 days, the veil is thin. So 13 Kame, the veil is thinnest of all. 13 Kame is certainly a day of mediumship. If there's anybody that you need to speak to in the other world, 13 Kame is the day to find a medium and do that. Or do it yourself. You may find that the way that the spirit speaks on 13 Kame is that you don't need somebody to go through, because it can speak so strongly. Kame is also about our spiritual transformation. It's about facing things that we fear. In the Popol Vuh, the hero twins went through the underworld, facing the trials of the Lord's Kame, overcoming their fears one by one, and then re-emerging as Ish, re-emerging as the Jaguar magicians. But we do that by facing our fears. We do that by coming to terms with them. We do that by working them out. So 13 Kame may be a day when Spirit or the ancestors, they may even push a few things forward for you to assess. They won't push anything forward that you're not ready to deal with. And be aware that what they do push forward, you also have your ancestors walking with you to help you to overcome those fears. So it's time. It's time to overcome them. It's time to move forward with them. Will it be easy? Probably not. But you have the world of spirit there to help you to overcome them and transform, to move up a level. Okay? So, that's the Trecena of Ix. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, for listening. And I'll look forward to seeing you again in 13 days' time for the Trecena of Ix. Thank you.